Welcome to another episode of The Story of a Woman. We're on Long Bay Beach on the eastern side of the island. And which island is this? Well, I'm talking about Antigua and Barbuda. And in this episode, I get to sit down with Tizzy. Who is Tizzy? Well, if you know LA Crew, if you know Antigua, if you know the Caribbean, you know who Tizzy is. Some of us know her as Tanzania Sebastian. Some of us know her as Tanzania Hector. But Tizzy's going to sit with us. We're going to chat for a little bit. Before I do anything else, I do want to say a special thank you to our partners, our friends at the Halo Foundation, WEOC, Geos, Simply Coffee, Simply Me, the Furniture Gallery, Down West Car Rentals. Those of you who have always supported us, thank you so much for that. And of course, the team here at The Story of a Woman, Darrell Brandon, and the rest of the gang. So when I come back, we're going to sit right here on the beach with Tizzy. Stay with us. Sun, sea, and sand. And I think this defines you, Tizzy, the epitome of all Antiguan Barbudan. Thank you so much for coming out today to share your story.
Thank you for having me.
On The Story of a Woman. Ideally, it's about Caribbean women who influence. And through your musical career and the fact that you are so influential as well, I think you're worthy.
Thank you. Thank you. It's always a pleasure.
Tizzy, let's take it back to getting into music and jumping into LA Crew and being a part of the musical fraternity and finding yourself. How was that for you?
But finding myself is the main thing. I started in dance on stage and dancing and performing in the performing arts, and from there, through a mutual friend, I met Rohan and Zamba and the guys in LA Crew, and we took it from there. I'm from a musical family, musical background. My grandfathers played a banjo or guitar. My father played the guitar. My mother danced. So it's something I was groomed into without even knowing, and then everything just fell into place.
So this was all part of your life?
Yes.
So coming out of that dance background, of course, your sisters, cousins, the entire family, we know that story. But when you joined LA Crew, how old were you? It's not that far back.
Yes, I'm not that old. I think 18. 18, the Carnival year of Little Batty, LA Crew's Little Batty.
Yes.
1998.
Wow. It was that year then.
Yep.
So thinking about it, when we take it back, when you jumped on stage with the guys, was it something that you had planned or you had even had at the back of your mind thinking, okay, well, one day I'll sing professionally and dance professionally as well?
Well, you know, my father, my parents always had this idea that we had so many siblings and things that we would form this band, this musical band, sort of like the Partridge Family or, you know, or the Jacksons. We had so many people and we were all talented, and so we would form this band and go around and entertain. That was a dream of theirs. I knew the guys from LA Crew, and I didn't jump on stage, I jumped onto the truck, Carnival Monday.
Oh, so that's how that happened?
That's how that happened. I actually saw Ron in town, and he said, are you finished school? Because if they don't play around with people going to school and being on stage, and you have to be of age, everything has to be above par. And so they, are you finished from school? I said, yes. They said, okay, well, take this CD and go learn the background vocals. I'm like, okay. And I didn't see anybody, I didn't hear from anybody again. And on Carnival Monday, I'm on the road going to play mass with my dance troupe at the time. And I saw the truck and they say, are you ready? And I jumped on the truck and I was doing background vocals Carnival Monday 1998. And I haven't looked back.
And that was a wrap. So you would have been with Bike, Rohan, Zamba, the rest of the crew.
Yep.
Oh my goodness gracious. And that was a good year for Carnival as well.
Yes, it was.
In terms of women, frontline women, how easy was it for you to adapt? Because as much as we have the glory and the fun and the glamour of being in front of thousands of people, performing, singing, having a good time, was there any form of backlash?
There weren't that many female frontline vocalists at that time. I mean, not in Soca.
In Antigua?
In Antigua.
Yes.
They had a few female vocalists in Calypso, and in the other parts of the region, there were female vocalists and frontline vocalists, but not necessarily in Antigua. So there wasn't that much for me to gain inspiration from or to learn from necessarily. So I had to look at the men and see what the men were doing, and in some cases venture out of soca and look to see what a Tina Turner or a Cher or a Madonna or well, at the time there wasn't Beyonce yet, but whoever was out there at the time performing and doing well and giving you like a complete package. Those are my sources of inspiration to try and figure out, how do I do Tizzy?
That's pretty interesting. I know at the time there would have been like an Alison Hines.
Yes, there was Alison Hines, there was Chanel Dempster.
Any influence
Denise
at all?
Plummer.
Yes.
Doesn't that Denise Belfon? But like
Yes.
I said, they were in Trinidad and in other areas of the region, not necessarily in Antigua. So at the time, remember, there wasn't Facebook and a lot of social media. So
We're taking it way back.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, you take the good from out of every
Yes.
situation and try and make it work best in your own situation.
So no shortfalls, no backlash whatsoever.
Well,
no downtimes. Being in a position as a frontline as a
For
female.
me, it was a learning curve because, like I said, I was already on stage, I was already performing as a dancer, but not necessarily as a singer. So I had to learn that whole performance on a different level. And you get the backlash of people doing the criticizing. You can't sing, you can't dance, you can't perform. You're only good enough for.
How did you deal with that?
I don't normally take those things on. I take my days one day at a time. And unfortunately, I had to learn how to do everything as Tizzy the performer in front of the entire world, in front of the entire Caribbean. So as I was learning, you were seeing and criticizing, but I just had to hold my own. I've been told I'm very, not hard-headed, but strong-willed, you would say. And so once I had good teachers around me, good people around me to try and guide me, I kept my head on and I just took it one step at a time, day by day.
So I need to kind of fast forward and then maybe come back a little bit because our time is limited. But I'm thinking of LA Crew being one of the first bands, if not the first, to penetrate the Trinidad market, going into Trinidad for Carnival outside of the Burning Flames. What was that like? And then here you are now in the front line, in the forefront with all of the other bands in Trinidad and Tobago, in terms of the music, the genre, the type of vocal ability. How was that for you? Was that a learning experience as well?
As well, because I left Antigua singing only background vocals. So that's all I knew. And when I got down there, Ronnie McIntosh saw one of our performances and he said, you know what? We have Alison here doing frontline, we have Sanel doing frontline. You can't have a female in the band not doing a frontline performance, not doing a frontline song. So right away, I had to learn Faluma. Right away, I have to learn River.
Yeah, and you did a really good performance though. I remember that. You did a really good rendition of
like I said,
River and also Faluma.
Everything that I have had to come up, all the obstacles, all the growing on the learning curves, I've had to do it on camera or on social media for everybody to see and criticize and pick apart and chew up and whatever, but hey, I'm strong.
You talk about being strong and some may have said maybe your family hard-headed, but I don't think it's that. But you seem to have an inner strength that you let things just work their way through and you don't allow it to
consume you
whatsoever. The Boys Club, it's difficult at times, I know, especially in the music industry. Sometimes you're just seen as that frontline person, that vocalist, and maybe...
Or the eye candy.
Or the eye candy, yes. I've seen the money shots many times. Oh, let's get the money shot of Tizzy.
Yes.
And not being used for your creativity and what you can actually give to the music industry here in the Caribbean. How did you maneuver yourself with that?
Well, a lot of hard work, a lot of time spent in the studio because as much as you can perform, as much as you can sing, as much as you look nice, you have to have a hit song. And so we worked a lot of times working in the studio, working with vocal coaches, working with anybody who, you could take you to that next level. If this person had a good track this year, we figure, well, we go try and work with the producers or the writers of who did that track to make sure that you're on the path to the next great hit. And there we had Expose. It wasn't easy, because of course, like I said, I was learning everything like on the spot as you go. And I mean, it took a long time. I'm still learning, I'm still growing, and I look forward to everything in the future.
And you know what, Tizzy, you talk about expose and you talk about learning as you go and on the curve. But when persons saw you performing with LA Crew, we all got the impression that you'd been there forever. No
I've been
one
on
knew
the
that.
stage, but I wasn't a singer and performer like that.
Well, you could have fooled us.
When I first started dancing and I was supposed to do an audition to get into the main club for the dancers, and they asked me why did I want to do this or why did I love dancing or whatever, and I said, for me, you wouldn't really know that, I'm not really the outgoing type of person. A lot of interviews and being in front of the camera, that wasn't me. I preferred to show all my energy and all my emotions through dance, and I can do that without having to say a word.
That's what I like about you. And you always kept pushing, even when you came to Trinidad and Tobago and throughout your performances across the globe as well. I just want to jump into your highs and lows. Tell me your lowest point, and also tell me your highest point. I know we all have so many.
Yes.
And another question I'm going to throw in there one time. Do you feel that you got the support of Antiguan society, government society, while you were out there representing? Because you fly that flag all the time.
Absolutely, absolutely. I would have to say my high points are the times when I'm able to travel and share our music, our soca music in its rawest and purest form to the rest of the world, regardless of your language background or your cultural background. I was able to go and share some of Antigua and Barbuda's style of music, or at least the LA Crew and Tizzy style of music, to the rest of the world. And they would be jumping and waving and asking for encores. And just to be able to see all of that, knowing that you've put in all of your hard work and you're now seeing all of it come to light. Those were my high points. In China, in Belgium, in Los Angeles, anywhere across the world that you can go and do that and bring joy to people.
Yes.
Because sometimes somebody's not having a good day and you're able to give them just that extra light and moment in that time. I'm just happy and pleased to be able to give that to people. My low points, I've never really thought of the low points.
Really?
No,
Yeah.
because I try not to dwell on them. You get up in the morning, you've done a good workout at the gym, you're in pain, but you still have to get up and you go. You have to go pay bills, you have to go do things like regular people, but you still have to get up and go, because at the end of the day, yes, you are the artist, but you are a human. So you have to move. Well, for me, I had to get up and go, I had to move.
And what about support? What about support from your country?
Support from, well, first of all, let me say that I have tremendous support from the team of LA Crew. That is Rohan Hector and my husband, and Zamba Richards. They have been supportive from day one, and of course my family, my backbone, they've always supported me. I mean, everybody can support you, and so I don't dwell on the ones who don't.
So
I'm not
you
going to
don't
say
deal with the haters at
no,
all.
I don't deal with the haters, and I'm not going to say that it's everybody in Antigua who doesn't support, but I welcome the people who do. And from time to time, you're able to see everybody who truly says, Tizzy, we love you, we welcome you, we appreciate the work that you do for us, and I'm happy for that, and I don't look about the rest.
One person, and I have to put in a personal plug here, Jamal Francis, I have to call his name because he just loves you. And yeah, I'll just leave it at that. Hi, Jamal.
Hi, Jamal.
Support for women. So we've got this elephant in the room where we talk about, I've got you, you've got me, let's support each other. It's a lot for us because a lot of us say it,
Yes.
but we don't practice it.
We do not.
Especially as
absolutely.
Caribbean women, even in these times. What do you think we need to do a little bit more to reach out to what I would deem the sisterhood?
Well, I've been seeing a lot more of it, because like I said before, it was a male-dominated industry, and more you're having a lot more female. You're having Nyla, Patrice, Destra, Faye, Nadia, Terry Lyons. That's in the region. You have Nikki from St. Lucia. You have Allison from Barbados. So more and more you're seeing the female come front, and sometimes even making more dominance over the men. And in Antigua, there's CP, there's, well, Jashawn used to be, quite a few, the Kimmy now.
Yes.
And so we just have to keep encouraging each other.
Janine, hi Janine.
Janine, yes. Yes, she's amazing. And what I've been seeing more and more, and I think it's through, now that we have social media, we've been showing the support through that avenue. We like each other's posts, we share things about each other, we congratulate each other and encourage each other. More and more I'm seeing that among our female artists, and we just have to keep doing that.
Taking soca music to the next level, especially with a female at the forefront. What do you think about that? How do we do that, especially from an Antiguan perspective?
Yeah, well, like I said, we have to keep working. I've seen Marshall do it, and like if they could do it, I'm just going to push through and make sure that I can get there as well. We have started,
yes.
So we just have to continue.
And I have to add as well the opportunity that you had in Trinidad and Tobago for, was it 2 seasons?
2 seasons.
Yeah, performing with Roy Cape All Stars and
definitely
stamping your name. Well,
no
that
pun
would
intended.
have
Been actually my 4th season performing
yes.
in the country. Because I went there for 2 seasons with LA Crew and
yes.
performed on the road already in previous years. And so those 2 years with All Stars, and then of course I was there for a year of season with Destra as well.
How was that?
That was
with the Queen of Bacchanal.
The Queen of Bacchanal.
And I thought that was just so awesome that yourself and
this is where we had started.
Yes.
The sisterhood. Yes, because over the years she's done it with me, where I've gone down and performed for the season. I've seen her do it with Alison.
Yes.
I've seen her do it with Denise, different females around the region. Because then Claudette even went down and performed with her at one point. And so it has started. We just have to keep doing it. Keep on the same path.
Have you ever had anyone, just strangers come up to you and say, "How is that, Lethal Batty?"
How is that, Lethal Batty? No, but in the year when I had Expose and Antigua Nice, while everybody was thinking that Expose is all about taking off your clothes and going on the beach on our beautiful sandstone and sea, this lady met me and she said, "I'm glad you finally put out a song for Antigua." So I'm thinking she's talking about Antigua Nice. She said, "No, expose the colors of Antigua."
Yes.
I'm like, I'm glad somebody got it. Somebody got it.
Let's talk a little bit about family and sisterhood. How many sisters do you have?
5.
5 sisters? So is it just girls?
Oh, wait,
or do you
no.
have brothers?
Sorry, it's 4. It's 5 girls.
5 girls.
4 sisters, 2 brothers.
2 brothers?
Yes, I do have brothers.
What was life like growing up in a household?
For a long time there was only 4 of us.
Yeah.
And my sister and I danced, and my brothers came to dance class and played the drum, but that didn't last too long because they weren't about that life.
Oh my goodness.
They weren't about that life. And then I think we were 13, a good 9 years after the other 3 joined us. And we was just one happy family, one big happy family.
Tell me a little bit about your mom, though. I mean, she must have been and still is a very strong individual.
She still is. She goes out with them every night to go and perform when they're going into the hotels and different performances.
Yes.
She's out there with them.
And looks like your sister, too.
Yes.
Because I never knew that was your mom. I
No.
was like, wow. Wow.
You just thought she was my older sister?
Yeah. And not even older, just one of the siblings.
One of the siblings, yes.
Hats off to her.
Both of my parents have been very, very supportive.
Yes.
My father passed away in 2013.
I'm sorry to
God
hear
rest
that.
his soul, and thank you. And they have both always been very supportive. My mother used to always take us to dance classes, and my father would just be like, "You tell me where to drive them." He would support us. He said, "Show people what you are capable of." And so I'm, forever grateful that they introduced us to this thing called entertainment, this thing called music, and that they were there with us every step of the way to make sure, that they were protective of us, that we weren't taken advantage of.
I know we spoke about emphasis and support being placed on you and the band, but what about support and emphasis in terms of dance and the arts? Do you think as a society in Antigua that we place enough emphasis on dance and music and all of that good stuff? Because a lot of us tend to think, well, that's not a job, it's not a career.
I've heard that.
You can't pay the bills with that.
But
we've seen differently
we have seen differently that you're very much able and capable to pay the bills through entertainment, through dance, through performing, through music. And so we just have to figure out how to do it right here in Antigua. Some pockets of the industry are getting it, but we need to be able to educate everyone on how to get it done right, get it done the correct way.
I like that. I have to congratulate you. Pretty much almost a newlywed. getting married
Thank
to
you.
Rohan Hector. How has
Yes.
that been? Did you ever, in 1998, did you
Nah.
think, nah,
Nah.
nah, never?
1998, I was freshly finished school. I was looking for what would Tanzania be doing
Yes.
for the next 5 to 10 years. And then I stumbled upon, not that I stumbled upon soca music, because I've always been in touch with music, but I stumbled upon soca music and LA Crew. And from then, I was just so eager and energized to do the work, to get the music done. And as I said, it was my learning time.
Yes.
So I was trying to learn to do everything. So I didn't have time to be focused on a relationship. What music was my relationship. So at the time, we didn't know that this was even possible.
I like the fact that you said nah.
No.
Right, because that was not on your mind.
That was
and that
not
was
on
just,
my
you know,
mind, no.
so far away. And
Yeah.
here you are, married. Congratulations once again.
Thank
it just
you.
goes to show that life, you never know,
You never know.
what
You
is
never
around
know.
the corner.
Right. And sometimes it's just right there under your nose, and you're
Yes.
so busy doing everything else, you're not paying attention to say, well, this is possible.
And he supported you. I mean, I've seen it throughout the years, even as a
Definitely.
part of the band, just always being very supportive. I guess he would have seen the
Definitely.
talent that you have.
Definitely,
Yeah?
definitely. And then even when I first started, I wasn't very comfortable doing, like I said, interviews, because my thing was I can always dance and perform and show you emotion,
I don't
show
believe
you what
you,
I'm
though.
thinking.
I don't believe you about
No?
not being comfortable doing interviews.
Never. So sometimes when it was time to go do an interview, whether it be on radio or TV or whatever, just before we go on, because at first they used to have to come on with me.
Yes.
So in case I'm broached with a question that I wasn't comfortable answering, I didn't know how to answer, somebody would jump in. So they would say before we get on, remember to say this, remember to say that. If they ask you this, and so I would hear this and I would hear, and then I would watch interviews on TV with different celebrities. So if I was put in that position and I was asked this question, how would I answer it? And that's how I started training myself, so to speak, to try and get over the interview hurdle.
I love that. I really do. And I love the fact that you didn't have to worry about your interviews because Bike would have, you know, just chatted for everybody as far as I'm concerned.
Definitely, definitely. And it's, over the years, like I said, once you keep working, you stay focused. Because sometimes there's so many obstacles, so many hurdles that will come into your way, you get distracted. And if you're not a strong person, you'll just want to give up. Like a lot of the other female and male artists here in
Yes.
Antigua, you will just give up. It's not
Yes.
easy.
Yes.
Thankfully, I am strong-willed.
2 last questions. A female who would have influenced you in some form or fashion, whether it be music or otherwise. And 2, the quality of the music in Antigua and Barbuda, which I know is a really important one in terms of final production or mastering and what we put out there into the world. So maybe you want to go with that one first and then we could talk.
The music, well, for me, LA Crew has always done most of my music, and wherever we could find the best at what we needed, we would go and find it. So if it is we needed to go to Barbados, to New York, to Trinidad, to the Virgin Islands, wherever we needed to go to get it done, that's where we went.
So you spared no cost whatsoever.
Well, it wasn't easy as far as the cost was
Yes.
concerned, because having to travel up and down the region to find the right thing, the
Yeah.
right hit, the writer.
Good things not cheap.
It's not, and we've had to struggle over the years, because one of the major obstacles and hurdles in the way is your finance, and so to try and get everything in place for the music, that was tremendously difficult at times to try and get at. So there were times where we didn't even get down to Trinidad to do the promotions and everything that you need to follow up on, because you have a song, it's all done, and then what's the point of putting it out and you can't continue with the promotions? Because you have to be able to continue with the whole, is a chain. You get the writers, you get the music, you get the
Yes.
production, and once that set is done, now you have to start the promotion
Yes.
with the videos and all these other
Yes.
things, and photo shoots and all these other things come into play. If you don't have the money to do it, what's going to
Yeah,
happen?
you're going to be totally
What's
soiled.
going to happen?
And
Like,
as you say that, I think of Darrell Brandon.
oh,
God rest his soul. I know that
I
he-
am thankful that I was
Yes.
able to have my chance, my shot to work with him a couple of years, a few years. When I first went to Trinidad, I was recording with him as well, and he came to Antigua and was recording with us. And he was the first person to tell me, I wish you had liked to hear your voice as much as some other people had liked
like
to hear their voice.
Yes. So we say hats off to Darrell Brandon.
Definitely,
of course.
definitely.
And as I wrap up, female influence, anyone that you look up to, Caribbean, global, right here in Antigua?
I would have to say my mother. My mother, definitely. Times has always been great,
Yeah,
but she keeps on pushing through.
yeah.
She works hard for all 7 of her children and her extended children, because of course all of our friends and family who come around the house and come around the dance group, she's almost automatically adopted them. And so she's always been able to look out for everybody and to make sure that everybody had what they needed. And both her and my father were able to do that, but now she's on her own doing it, and she's holding up very well. And I hope that I would be able to be as strong as she is and to work as hard as she does. At her age, I hope I'll be able to continue to do that.
And congratulations to you, Mom.
Thank you.
Tizzy, thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
here today, telling your story. It's always nice when we hear good stories, and you know, good stories make up the not so good and the elevation as well.
And we try not to think and stress on the negative,
You can't.
only the positive.
You
Yes.
can't, you can't. But we look forward to seeing you sometime soon, in the very near future. Great music, keep flying the flag high.
I will, I will.
And God bless you as a Caribbean woman.
Thank you.
You're most welcome. Hello everyone. Yes, I am on a beach in beautiful Antigua and Barbuda, Long Bay, but we are practicing social distancing. And my message to you today is very simple. Just make sure that you are safe. It is important. If you have to follow the stay-at-home guidelines, then do so. If you have to follow the state of emergency guidelines, then do so. If you're asked to stay within 6 feet of each other, then do so. If there is a curfew, follow the curfew. It could happen to you. It could happen to all of us. We're in a state of shock. Some of us, a lot of us laid off, some of us not knowing where the next dollar is going to come from. But I guarantee you, we are all in this together. This is not just Antigua, Barbuda. It's not just Trinidad and Tobago, St. Lucia, Grenada, Jamaica. It is global. Many people are dying, and we want to make sure that we protect ourselves, we protect our people. So please, just follow the rules, regulations, and guidelines. And remember, we are all in this together. We're going to overcome this. This too shall pass.